Fernandez. It's a pleasure to be here. My name Ivan Fernandez, and I'm delighted to be here and explain to you about this fantastic and amazing technique that is called Kinetic Shift technique. This is an online seminar or webinar, and I have received a good number of questions about what Kinetic Shift is, how it works, who is it suitable for, what kind of people can use it, what kind of conditions is it helpful for. So today I want to clarify so many questions that you guys have asked me. And first of all, I want to show you, as you can see on the screen, the title of this seminar online is called Kinetic Shift Technique, Recycling Mental Rubbish Today for a Better Tomorrow. Why I have decided to call this webinar like this? The reality is that, as you are going to see in a moment, when we are working with Kinetic Shift, we are not really eliminating the problem. We are recycling it. We are transforming it into something much better. We are going to see all the stages of this technique, and I'm going to be able to clarify all the questions that you might have about this technique. That is a little bit, there are many people that are curious about it because there isn't much information on the internet. And I'm going to tell you why there isn't much information either on the internet. There is a reason for that. So there is a reason for everything we do at the UK Hypnosis Academy. And there is a reason why there isn't much information about Kinetic Shift on the internet. Well, the first reason is because it's quite new technique. It's been developed by Carl Smith, and it's been quite new, even though we have been using it for a good number of clients, so hundreds of clients already. I have been using it, and I use it in daily basis in my hypnosis practice, and Carl Smith has been using it for the last 2 or 3 years and testing in the military service and testing it with clients as a hypnotist. And now we can see, or we can say, that there is a great technique and a great tool that is going to help hundreds of people, even more that it has helped. So let's get started. I have here some slides that I'm going to pass. So a little bit about me. Well, my name is Ivan Fernandez. Some people know me already. I'm a hypnotist based in Ireland. I'm a UK Hypnosis Academy International Associate Trainer. And I help people to eliminate fears, phobias, anxiety, and stop smoking and losing weight. And I do more than that, but those are the basics. You know, those are the issues that most people come to see me for. And I started to do hypnosis in 2011. I changed my career completely. I was doing something completely different. My whole life, my past life within this life was related to property management and hospitality management. And it was something that it was alright. It was good salary. I had a good salary. I had a safe job, or more or less a safe job, as safe as it can be, having a permanent contract in a private company, in an American company. And I decided to quit all my safety to begin to do things that I really like to do. I trained as a coach first, and I studied for 2 years as a career coach. I worked for a charity in Ireland for 2 years, and I realized that it wasn't easy for me to find clients, that it was not easy for me to find clients that were able to afford my fees or wanted to afford my fees. And I decided that I wanted to do something else. Even though I love the profession of coaching, I needed to do something else. So in one holiday when I was with some friends in Cyprus, I'm going to tell you the story how I discovered hypnosis. I saw this hypnotist doing some hypnosis show at night time in a pub there in Cyprus, and I was amazed about all the things that he could do. You could see all the people apparently was sleeping on their chairs and doing crazy things. So after the show, I was still thinking about what had happened the night before. I didn't volunteer myself. I was just observing, watching what the people were doing. And the day after, I was in a bus on the way to the beach, and I found this woman with her partner that they had been hypnotized the night before in the show. So I went straight to the woman to ask her. I know that probably I was a little bit curious, and I went straight to ask her if that was real, what had happened before in that show. And she say, well, to be honest with you, I don't remember many of the things that happened last night in that show. My boyfriend has told me, but I don't really remember. So apparently that woman has had some spontaneous amnesia, what is amazing. So I began to research and to read about hypnosis, how it worked, how it was possible that the people did those crazy things in the show. And I came up with information that really amazed me, and I really like it, because I could relate, and I could see that information as something that could really complement my coaching practice and my coaching skills. So I decided to do a little bit more of research, and I studied hypnosis, and I began to see my first clients, some of them more successful than others, and that's how I first started doing hypnosis. Well, that's my introduction, because I know that if I speak a lot, I'm not going to explain what is really important, that is the kinetic shift. Probably during this seminar I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself, about why I started with hypnosis and what happened after I began to see my first clients. What made me study kinetic shift, what made me study with other trainers and discover this amazing tool. Okay, so that's a little bit about me, and now I'm going to tell you what is this online seminar about. Well, there are many people that are wondering what is Kinetic Shift and what is the UK Hypnosis Academy doing lately. Some of you have contacted me directly that you are interested in doing Kinetic Shift technique training. There are some trainers in the UK. I'm based in Ireland, and I travel a lot, especially to Spain. That's, as you haven't noticed it yet, I'm Spanish. My accent cannot lie. So I travel quite a lot, and I deliver training in other countries, especially in Ireland and Spain. So today I'm going to show you all the secrets about Kinetic Shift, as many secrets as I can tell you online, and I can show you online. Alright, so I like to start with the first question. There is no really an order for the questions. As the people ask me, I just wrote them down, and now I'm going to show you how they are. Okay, so the first question is, as a health professional, what can I use Kinetic Shift technique for? Excellent. So look, kinetic shift is a psychological technique that can be used to eliminate fears, phobias, anxiety. It can be used to eliminate cravings, food cravings, cigarettes cravings, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and especially to eliminate those unwanted feelings, unwanted emotions, or even to change those unwanted thoughts. As a health professional, there are many kind of health professionals. There are mental health professionals, There are many kind of health professionals, so this is very wide. What I can tell you is that this kinetic shift technique is very useful for psychologists, for psychiatrists, GPs, hypnotists, of course, hypnotherapists, psychotherapists, all kind of therapies, Reiki masters, because they can combine this technique with many other psychological interventions. Okay. I'm checking here. How does kinetic shift work? Now that I'm reading this question, I don't know if it will come later on, there is another question that needs to be answered too. The main question will be, what the hell is kinetic shift technique? So kinetic shift technique is just a psychological process that is being divided in seven stages and 7 steps, and it includes several psychological interventions that you can put them all together, or you can use them in different order. There is not really an exact order to use these psychological interventions. And between these psychological interventions, it include NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it include confusion, it include shamanism, theatrical techniques, it include, of course, hypnosis. And when you put all these pieces together, it will help you, or it help people to transform those unwanted habits, unwanted feelings, and unwanted thoughts into something that is more pleasurable, something that is more likable for the person. So that's why I call this online seminar recycling. I have it here. Look, you have it there. Recycling mental rubbish today for a better tomorrow. So that's because what we do is we transform, we recycle those unwanted feelings, unwanted thoughts, and we transform them into something more likable, something more usable, more helpful for the person, and obviously more likable. Okay, let's come back to the next question that I have here. As you can see, I have many questions. We have seen that one, we have seen this other one. So how does kinetic shift work? Usually kinetic shift is used in combination with hypnosis. You don't really have to use hypnosis if you don't want. You can use it separate. However, my recommendation is to use this technique with a combination of hypnosis. You can put the person under hypnosis, and I will tell you later on how you can combine hypnosis and kinetic shift. Probably you are seeing this seminar is because you have some knowledge about hypnosis, and if you don't know anything about hypnosis, you are going to find later on a little bit more about it. And what we do is sometimes we do content-free therapy or content-free session with hypnosis. We do awake hypnosis or wake hypnosis. That means that the person has the eyes open and is in hypnosis or under hypnosis, and we can do these 7 steps or 7 stages of the technique to help the people transform, recycle those unwanted feelings, thoughts. And we don't even need to know what the person wants to change. It's not that we don't really need to know. It's that the person doesn't need to speak much about it. We speak more about the feeling, about the sensation, about the feeling in the body. So we can start the process to transform, to recycle that unwanted feeling and unwanted thought. Okay, next question. How long does the change take to happen? Okay, so what that question means is, so after doing kinetic shift technique, how long does it take until the person begins to see changes? It's important to acknowledge that everyone is completely different. I have seen complete transformations in 5, 10, and 15 minutes. What I'm completely sure, and I can assure you, is that the person is going to change, is going to feel different after 1 or 2 times that you do kinetic shift technique. After the first session, the person is feeling different. So you don't really need to do a long process of 10 sessions or 5 sessions. This is something that the person is going to notice the change straight away. For some people, they might have some issues that are a bit deeper, and you might need to take a little bit longer, more than 1 session, maybe 2 sessions or even 3 sessions if you want to go a little bit deeper. But most people, after the first session, they feel a complete transformation. And sometimes people, after 5, 10 or 15 minutes, they have been able to eliminate any fear, any phobia, to eliminate food cravings. So it's an amazing tool. Next question. Is the change permanent? Okay, so that's related to the other question. So after doing kinetic shift, after helping the person with kinetic shift, is the person going to feel the change forever in her life? This is a difficult question to ask. I have noticed permanent changes in my clients. However, I cannot see the clients all their life. I cannot be behind them following all their life. The time is limited and the feedback is limited. However, I can tell you that this is a quite new technique, quite innovative technique that is being out there by Carl Smith. Carl Smith has been using it for the last 2 or 3 years already. And there are hundreds of people that have noticed and they have reported great changes and transformation in their lives. Many of them, they are still feeling amazing and wonderful. And some people reported that they felt much better and they needed still some improvements. However, if you see this into a percentage, some people might reduce the issue maybe from a 9 to a 1 or to a 2, something that is the person can handle. It's not that anxiety that paralyzes the person. So it's much more in control of their life. So in most cases, the changes are completely permanent, and the person doesn't need to have long sessions or many sessions to really have those changes forever in their life. Let's go with the next question. Does kinetic shift work with symptoms or with the cause, or work with just with the cause of the problem? Good, excellent. So kinetic shift work with the subconscious mind of the person. What does it mean? The subconscious mind is where the person has all those feelings and wanted beliefs and wanted emotions that are automatic and cannot control them. Because if the person could control those feelings, wouldn't need help or wouldn't call us to make changes. So we believe that when we speak to the subconscious mind, we are speaking to the cause of the problem. As I say, in many cases, we don't really need to hear from the person too much information about what the problem is, because we are speaking about that feeling. And when the person is able to change that feeling, and the person cannot find the feeling inside of the body, the person is much more in control, and automatically the issue is going to vanish and disappear. So definitely we are working with the cause, the deep root cause of the problem, which means that the changes in most cases are permanent. Okay, next question. To make it more dynamic and more flexible, this seminar, like kinetic shift, is dynamic and flexible. Let's go. Okay, so now what is kinetic shift technique? As I said before, it's just a psychological techniques, psychological process that include 7 steps or 7 stages that combine several psychological interventions like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis. It combines theatrical skills. It combines a little bit of showmanship. It combines what else? It combines eye movement. This is the eye movement technique too. You know, it combines all these techniques that can be put in different order just to adjust it to our clients. I think that I have said this before, so let's continue now. How long does it take to apply the kinetic shift technique? I assume that this question, it means that how long does the kinetic shift technique process takes? So I can tell you that this technique is so simple that you can even do it in 2 or 3 minutes. If you do it fast, if you feel comfortable, if you feel confident with this technique, and you have done it many times, when you internalize all the stages and you know how to apply them, you can do this technique in 2 minutes, in 3 minutes. And some people might think, okay, that's it? Only 2 or 3 minutes technique? I can tell you the story of that person, that man, that was in his house and he had a problem in the pipes of the house. So he called a plumber to fix the pipes, and he didn't know what happened because the water supply didn't work. So the plumber turned up in his house, and after 3 minutes working and checking out the pipes, the plumber said, okay, this is completely fixed now. And the man say, excellent, that's amazing, only 3 or 5 minutes and you have fixed it, you are amazing. So how much do I owe you? How much is this repair? So the plumber say, the repair is 500 euro. 500 euro for 5 minutes of work? How is that possible? Well, because it's 5 minutes just for knowing what pipe I have to fix, and it's been 20 years until I learned where was the pipe that I had to fix. So what does it mean? That even though it's a technique that you can help people in 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, it has been years until has been discovered or has been developed by Carl Smith and other professionals that were using all the combination of those psychological techniques. So this is a technique that it's been years until it has been developed, and in only 2 or 3 minutes it can be used. In some other cases you might need to repeat the technique, and you might need 10, 15 minutes or even 20 minutes. Okay, so let's go with the next question. So how long does a typical kinetic shift session last? Okay, before I was explaining the kinetic shift technique, how long does it last? And I say in less than 5 minutes you can use this technique. So what about a kinetic shift session? So basically it's more or less the same. If you want, the person can finish the session and can feel completely transformed and recycled within 5 or 10 minutes. Now it's up to you to combine kinetic shift with other techniques that you might use, because you can combine and complement kinetic shift with other hypnosis techniques that you know, with other models of hypnosis that you might know, because you can combine it perfectly. It's like a module that you take it and, oh, so I'm going to use it now with regression, or I'm going to use it with this exercise of NLP or something like that. Even though you wouldn't need to use those other techniques, however, you have the ability that the more techniques you know, the more you will be able to use the more you will be able to help your clients. All right. So I've been doing kinetic shift techniques, or I've been using kinetic shift for 5-10 minutes, and the person was feeling completely different, and I have done maybe some relaxation just to well, to stay a little bit longer in the session, because sometimes the people cannot really believe that the change can be that fast. So it's like I have to be a little bit longer to do some future pacing, but it's not needed to do that. Okay, that's just me. Okay, next question is how and why kinetic shift is different to other methods. Okay, first of all, kinetic shift is fast, it's dynamic, it's effective. I'm going to tell you about my experience using kinetic shift. Before knowing kinetic shift and trained with Carl Smith, by the way, Carl Smith, you see that KS and kinetic shift technique, they have the same initial letters. However, they don't have anything to do. I mean that KS doesn't mean Carl Smith. It means kinetic shift. Okay, just to clarify, it was just random that happened. So I remember some time ago I used to do more scripted sessions. That means that I used to read my scripts. I used to have a clear structure about what I wanted to do with the clients. And now it's much more fast, everything. I have sessions where I could spend 1 hour, 1 hour and a half just reading a script or just having a scripted session and boring my clients. And I recognize that I used to do that too often. However, with kinetic shift technique, you are going to feel really confident to do hypnosis very fast. Even you are going to ask the person that when he's under hypnosis, she can open, or the person can open the eyes, and you can work with the eyes open. You can work content free, and that's amazing. Especially for me, when I'm working with English speakers, or I'm working with other people here in Ireland. So I don't really have to speak too much. I just have to know what is the feeling that they want to change, and boom, we change that feeling. We transform the feeling, the feeling, sorry, the unwanted feeling. We transform, or we recycle, as I began to call it. We recycle that feeling from unwanted to something that is useful, something that is likable. All right. I think that that's the main difference. Just to be dynamic, to be active. You use your intuition too. You are going to see. You have to pay attention to your client, those changes that you are going to see. In many cases, the sessions are emotional too, because you realize that the person is feeling much more lighter. And obviously, some people might cry, and you realize that it's like they lift the weight off their shoulders, and it's unbelievable to see their happy faces, and after well some tears too. Okay, next question. Is it easy to learn kinetic shift technique? It's easy to learn the process, all right? It's easy to learn kinetic shift. It requires some practice just to internalize, so to be familiar with all the process. I remember at the beginning, when I first learned the process, that kind of I couldn't believe that it was that simple. And then I was a bit skeptical about how simple it was, and skeptical about the results and the effectiveness with my clients. So after doing my kinetic shift training with Carl, that was one weekend in England. I had a client on Monday for weight loss, and this client wanted to eliminate the cravings for chocolate and sweet things. So I did this kinetic shift, and after 2 days, the woman texted me that she had lost completely her interest for chocolate. So she wasn't thinking about chocolate, even though she has kids, and she had chocolate in her fridge. She didn't even have interest anymore for chocolate. And another woman, in that same week, I saw her for anxiety. After 2 or 3 times, or after 2 or 3 rounds of anxiety, she couldn't find the anxiety anymore in her body. It had disappeared. And after my follow-up, the anxiety had gone completely. Those feelings, her description was the following. She felt like a washing machine in her stomach, and those feelings had disappeared completely. Her head was spinning. That feeling had disappeared completely, had gone completely after 15-20 minutes of kinetic shift session. So the changes, and after that week, after seeing clients, I realized that I had a very powerful tool. So it's very easy to learn. It takes a little bit longer just to get practice, to be efficient and to be proficient, to use it with confidence. So how effective is kinetic shift technique? I'm going to speak about myself and about all the cases that have been reported in our kinetic shift group from clients, from other therapists. The most important thing is to acknowledge that there is not a method in the world that is 100% effective. However, there are methods and techniques that are more effective than others. And I include kinetic shift as probably the most effective technique that I have used, that I have ever used. All right, just to change those unwanted feelings, to take out of the body those bad sensations that the people have. So if I compare to other techniques that I have used, I tell you that kinetic shift is the number one that I use now more often than the others. I use other techniques too in combination with kinetic shift sometimes, but usually I can use kinetic shift just on its own. I don't need anything else, basically. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So what is kinetic shift technique? I have said a question already. I have replied. So next question. Is kinetic shift the same thing as hypnosis? It's not hypnosis. It's not the same thing. Kinetic shift is a technique. Hypnosis is an intervention. And to use kinetic shift, you can use hypnosis, or you don't need to use hypnosis. I recommend, and we recommend, to use hypnosis because the person is more willing to accept and to make changes when the person is under hypnosis. As you know, when a person is under hypnosis, usually the brainwave changes and the person is in that super learning state that is more easy or easier to make changes. All right, so kinetic shift is completely different than hypnosis. They are two different things that they can be combined together, and we use hypnosis and kinetic shift as a complement to each other. You can use kinetic shift when the person is hypnotized, or you don't really need to use hypnosis to do kinetic shift. Although I recommend it to learn hypnosis. Okay, it's going to be more effective if you use this technique with hypnosis. Next question. Can anyone use kinetic shift? Well, I understand that this question is that all the people that want to train and learn kinetic shift technique can use it with their clients. As I say, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, holistic therapists, Reiki practitioners, physiotherapists, mental health professionals, GPs. I recommend all of these modalities and professions to take on this training, to learn this kinetic shift technique, to use it with their clients or with their patients. And once they take this training, they can use with the clients. Okay, next question. Okay, let me see. Okay, the next question is, can I use kinetic shift to help myself or to help my family? Yes, you can. Ideally, this kinetic shift technique is better to use it for someone else, because as you know, as self-hypnosis, in many cases, the conscious mind can be an obstacle to communicate to the subconscious mind. So you can use it with yourself. Once you use the method, you can use it in yourself. You can change those beliefs or unwanted feelings, and you can recycle into something much better, something more useful to you. And of course, you can use it with your family too, just to help your partner, your wife, your husband, your kids. You don't even have to tell them much information. When they are feeling down, you just tell them, look, let me do something with you, okay? And just follow the steps and the changes are going to happen. Actually, this week I was speaking to someone that took the training, the Kinetic Shift training, and told me that she had used this technique with someone, with a member of her family, to eliminate the headache, to change the headache. And it had been amazing. This person, it was a man, and this person have had headaches for a long time. And after doing Kinetic Shift with him, gone the headaches. So it's amazing for headaches, for pain too. Remember that if you are working with pain, it's always advisable to contact the GP and to work with the professional, the required professional for pain. Okay, next question. What kind of condition KS is recommended to work on or to work for? It's recommended to work for any kind of condition. Anxieties, fears, phobias, cravings, anything that the person can feel that cannot even verbalize. If you know about depression, I tell you this example. Depression is just a label. When someone is diagnosed as a depressed person or with depression, it means that a person has some symptoms that define him as a depressed person, as depression, okay, according to a book. So what we do is we can work with those symptoms that the person is having and transform them by speaking to the subconscious mind and reprogramming the mind with Kinetic Shift technique. So anything and everything that the person is feeling less than good, Kinetic Shift can be used. It's not just with labels. I have been working with people with OCD. I've been working with people with depression, with general anxiety, with fear of flying, and I have used Kinetic Shift technique. So you can use it for many things. Even if the person doesn't know what is happening to them, you can use Kinetic Shift because we are working even content free, so you don't have to know. What are the psychological principles behind Kinetic Shift? So again, the psychological principles, Kinetic Shift technique combines several psychological interventions. It's not just one. It combines hypnosis and NLP. It combines shamanism. It combines confusion. It combines eye movement techniques. You know, it combines so many techniques that altogether make this technique much more powerful than if you use just one. So you can combine, you can take these different techniques or interventions to make it just one and to make it more effective. Okay, so those are the psychological principles behind. Something that is important to say is that we work with the subconscious part of the mind, that automatic part of the mind that makes people feel bad with a reason. Sometimes you don't know and you might feel down and you don't know why you are feeling down and you're feeling like you don't know what is happening. So even though you don't know what is happening and you are feeling down, that's perfect. We are going to work with that. Or imagine this other case that someone is feeling anxious for some reason or having food anxiety or stress is very stressed. Doesn't have to have been diagnosed with any mental disorder. Just simple daily stress or anxiety is perfect. And now that I'm speaking about this, some people, just in case I haven't put the question here, some people ask me if they can improve something that is good already. So this is a fantastic question too, because in the same way that there are people that are feeling a little bit down, and we can just recycle that feeling, we can recycle the positive feeling and increase it through kinetic shift technique. So this is a fantastic recycle tool. It's not just about the bad feelings. Mainly people come to see us as a hypnotist or therapist when they have a problem. So usually I use this technique for unwanted and bad feelings. However, I have used it for increasing positive feelings. Maybe at the end of the session, when there is something, a resource that we want to strengthen, we can use it and increase the feeling through this technique. Okay, next question. Next question is, what kind of clients will benefit from KS typically? I said it before, any kind of client that is feeling less than good, that wants to change an unwanted feeling, that is feeling down, that has a fear, that wants to eliminate cravings, that wants to lose weight, that even wants to stop smoking, that wants to feel good, that wants to I don't know, so many things. Because as I say, we work even content free. We work with the feelings, and we don't really need to know much about the issue. So any kind of clients will benefit from KS technique. Next question. Can I use KS together with other psychological or hypnosis techniques? Yes, you can use KS with any other techniques, with NLP, with any other technique or therapy that you are doing at the moment, with psychotherapy, with psychology, any kind of psychology, CBT. You might learn this technique just to have something fun, something dynamic, and that is going to give you confidence that you can make changes for the person. And that's some of the reasons that that's why I took this training, Kinetic Shift training. In the past, I didn't feel confident enough to guarantee good results and to have an effective tool that could nearly guarantee that the person is going to feel much better. Now, nearly 99%, everyone after having a Kinetic Shift session is feeling fantastic and is feeling great, and the change has happened. So I'm wondering what kind of psychological or hypnosis technique wouldn't want to have as a complement Kinetic Shift technique, because it will be much more powerful. It will be any other technique much more powerful. Next question. I have 20 years experience in hypnosis. Will I learn something new? Okay, so doesn't matter if you have a lot of experience in hypnosis. Before I learned Kinetic Shift technique, I have been doing hypnosis for nearly 6 years. And when I learned KS, it changed completely the way I did hypnosis and the way I do hypnosis now. Before, I used to be sitting down on my chair, on my recliner, directly speaking to my client, and now I can stand up. The person can stand up. I can do hypnosis session while the person is having the eyes open, the eyes closed, lying down on the floor, standing up. I stand up too. So there is no a rule. The only rule is that you just do whatever makes you feel comfortable, because you can use Kinetic Shift in a very dynamic way. It's very flexible to use it in any possible way. So even though you have been doing 20 years hypnosis, I'm sure that the combination of these psychological interventions is going to really make a difference in the way that you are doing hypnosis. I have had people with 20 years experience interested in KS training, and I think that that's really, really positive. This is a profession that we can be 40 or 50 years working, and we need to keep learning new techniques, because probably the techniques that were developed 30 or 40 years ago, they are now a little bit obsolete. Maybe they are a little bit old, and we need new techniques. We are evolving, and this is what Kinetic Shift is about. It's about evolving the profession of hypnosis or hypnotist and psychology, if you combine them all together. So you are going to learn a fantastic technique, whether if you are 20 years experienced therapist or just new to this profession, wonderful profession. Can I use KS without any prior experience in hypnosis? Yes, you can. Actually, I had loved to learn this technique when I first did my learn hypnosis. It has saved me a lot of time and a lot of money. In this 2-day course that I will speak later on about it, you are going to learn hypnosis from the beginning, but you are going to learn hypnosis to do it in a rapid way, and in a fast way, in an ethical way, and with confidence. That's something really, really important. In all this number of years that I've been doing hypnosis, one of the characteristics that I have seen in most hypnotists that is lacking or are lacking is confidence. And confidence is essential to hypnotize anyone, anywhere. So if you don't have any experience in hypnosis, that's great too, because you are going to learn from scratch how to do rapid induction, how to hypnotize anyone, anywhere in less than 3 minutes, and then how to apply Kinetic Shift technique with hypnosis to create changes in your clients. And now another question is coming to my mind from this woman that she's a client of mine, and she's been using well, I've been doing Kinetic Shift session with her and other session for other issues, and she asked me if she could learn this technique, and of course she can use this technique. Moreover, she's well, the proof and the testimonial that Kinetic Shift is working, and now she wants to do the training, and she wants to begin to help others in her family, friends, and probably in the future to turn into a therapist. Who knows? So if you don't have any experience in hypnosis, that's okay too. Now, why I can't find the whole KS process on YouTube or on the internet? This is a very good question, and some people have asked me, is like, okay, so can you tell me, can you show me the process so I can decide if I do the training or not? And there is an important reason why we are not showing this process on camera. Well, if we have a Kinetic Shift group on Facebook where we speak, where we debate, where there are videos about Kinetic Shift technique. However, we are not broadcasting publicly this technique, just to guarantee that only people who have been trained know how to use it properly, because it requires interaction, and it's a technique that is much better if it's learned in a classroom, because it requires interaction, because it requires to feel the person. It requires that has to be learned in a classroom, just to avoid contamination and to avoid that Kinetic Shift technique can be transformed into something else and can be called Kinetic Shift, something that is not. So just to learn the proper way, we have decided not to put this the steps on YouTube or on the internet. You will not find anything about it, just to protect the the natural process and the interaction in the classroom. So once the people learn the process in the classroom, know exactly how to deliver the kinetic shift technique properly, without contamination or without trying to see if it works. You have spoken about content-free hypnosis. What does it mean? Okay, good question. So what it means is that there are some times when there are clients that, first of all, they don't know how to tell you what is happening to them. They are feeling down, they are feeling sad, they are feeling low confidence, lacking self-esteem, and they don't know why that is happening, and they don't really know to tell you what is happening. Some other cases, there are clients where they are speaking too much about what is happening. So the good thing is that we are communicating directly to the subconscious mind, which means that we don't really need to know much, or the person doesn't really have to explain to us much about what is happening. We just need to know the feeling, the sensation that the person wants to change, and then recycle the feeling, transform it, and to transform it into something completely different. So when the person is not able to find that feeling in the body anymore, or in their mind, or to have that thought anymore, automatically that unwanted feeling is losing the power. So the person is feeling much better. So it's automatic and it's completely subconscious. And that's amazing. That's something that has changed my way to do hypnosis too, because I don't really have to know much about the issue or to hear much information. I just need to know feelings. What's the feeling? And then boom, change it, transform it, and recycle it completely. Next question: how many sessions will a client need to eliminate fears or phobias? And how else can I use Kinetic Shift for? I have said this before. In most cases, you need just 15-20 minutes. That's all what you need. In most cases, for a fear or to eliminate fear or phobias, to deal with a fear or a phobia, you might need one session. In cases where the fear or the phobia might be very deep, that is the less cases, you might ask the person to come back just to receive feedback, basically, just to know all the improvements, to be sure that the changes are happening. And basically you don't need many sessions. So basically 1, 2, or even 3 sessions if you want to offer 3 sessions. However, I repeat that in 15-20 minutes you are able to eliminate a fear or a phobia with Kinetic Shift technique. Then if you want to do something extra, that's up to you completely. Or if you want to do an extra session just to receive that feedback from the person to be sure, so that's fine too. How else can I use Kinetic Shift for? So cravings, anxiety, unwanted feelings, unwanted sensations, unwanted thoughts, feeling down, not knowing how to express, lacking confidence, and you can use it to transform and to recycle negative feelings and to recycle positive feelings and transform them into amazing feelings. Okay, so you can recycle from bad feelings, transform them into something different that is positive, and you can transform something that is positive into something that is amazing. Okay, let's continue. Who is the creator of Kinetic Shift? The person who developed this technique is Carl Smith. He's the founder and creator of the UK Hypnosis Academy. You can know more about him in ukhypnosisacademy.com. And he was working for the military service for 11 or 12 years, and after a drunkard ran over him, he had to stop working in the military service. And he began his journey in therapy until he realized that the therapy that he was receiving was boring and nothing was changing the problem that he had after that accident. So after getting some training and trying different techniques, he found Kinetic Shift technique like something really effective, and he began to use it in the military service with many clients and people over there, to realize that he was getting amazing clients, and that's how he first started to use Kinetic Shift in the military and emergency service. Then it's been developed to use with any kind of clients outside of the military and emergency services. And now he has trained a number of people, of trainers. We are about 20 trainers in the UK Hypnosis Academy in the whole world that can deliver Kinetic Shift technique and train directly from the founder, that is Carl Smith. Carl Smith. Have a look. You can read more about him on the internet, on YouTube, on ukhypnosisacademy.com, and you will find very interesting. He has a book now on PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, where he speaks about his experience, about KS, and how he changed his life, and now he's helping other people to change and transform their life too. Could you tell me a little bit more about the steps of Kinetic Shift technique? Okay, all what I can tell you is that Kinetic Shift is being developed in 7 different stages. It includes 7 different steps. At the beginning you will learn them in an order, but that's not compulsory to follow that order. You can change depending on certain parameters that you are going to learn. You could decide to use another step before the other one. There is something that is very basic, that is transforming and recycling those unwanted feelings through these steps. And after the 7th step, you are going to realize that the person has changed and is completely different. Some of the steps that are included might sound familiar to you, and you might have been using them in neurolinguistic programming or in other psychological interventions. However, you haven't been using them properly, or you haven't been using them in this way. Sometimes hypnosis depends a lot about how you deliver hypnosis to make it effective. I give you an example. I have got training in regression from 3 or 4 different people, and until I felt comfortable delivering or doing regression with past regression or with people. So that means that is a way that hasn't been done before, the delivery of these techniques, even though the interventions might sound familiar to you. Because when I'm speaking about neurolinguistic programming, you know what, or you might have heard about neurolinguistic programming, but you have not heard about the use of neurolinguistic programming in this way that you are going to learn with Kinetic Shift technique and after doing the training. Okay, how can I learn Kinetic Shift? The way you can learn is by is in a 2-day course training where you will learn not only Kinetic Shift technique, you will learn much more than Kinetic Shift technique. It is a 2-day training, and the first day you learn about hypnosis, rapid inductions. You learn how to hypnotize people in under 3 minutes, how to put them in somnambulistic state even in seconds, and most important thing is just how to feel confident to hypnotize anyone anywhere. Then that will be the base that you need to know, and at least we recommend to know how to deliver Kinetic Shift technique. And then the second day is when you learn this technique, Kinetic Shift technique. You learn all the steps, and the most important thing is that you learn the practice. You learn to practice, to feel confident to use it. You learn all the steps, how to put them together, how to separate them, how to practice with your customers or with your clients. You will practice in the classroom with other people, and that's really important, just to feel confident in your ability to hypnotize anyone and to use to use KS in the proper way. That's why you cannot see it on the internet. Just to be sure that the person that receives the training is properly receiving the knowledge and has the adequate level to deliver KS in the clinic or in the hypnosis or with their friends or family. Will I receive notes or theory during the training? This training is basically practical, very practical, practice and practice. So the notes that you're going to receive are going to be very little, maybe a little breakout of the steps, and 90% of the time you are going to be practicing with other people. So basically, I will explain the concept, I will explain the technique, I will demonstrate the technique, and I will ask you to practice what has been taught, what has been told you, what I have explained to you. So basically, it's explanation, demonstration, and practice, and that's how all the training works. And that's much easier because when you finish the training, you take away the skill already, and it's inside of you. It's like internalize all that knowledge, so you have it for you forever, and you can use it without having to check out the papers or having to see what the steps are. I have been doing hypnosis for a few years now. What kind of hypnosis will we learn during the course? You will be learning rapid induction, you will be learning speed induction, you will be learning confidence in hypnosis, you will be learning how to hypnotize anyone, anywhere, within 3 minutes. You will be doing hypnosis to hypnotize people to stick the hand on the table, to suggestibility tests transform into inductions, and the most important thing that you are going to learn confidence. You are going to feel confidence to do hypnosis anywhere and anyone, just because you are going to know what to do, how to do it with confidence and failure free. Because if something is not working in the way that you would like, you are going to know how to be flexible and to take another path. That's something that is really, really important in hypnosis. To be flexible, to be dynamic, and to know that when something is not working in the way that we thought that would work, okay, what do I do now? Oh, I can do this now. I can use this other technique. And that's what you are going to learn during this training. What is different between this hypnosis and the classical hypnosis? Okay, depending on what classical hypnosis means to you. To me, classical hypnosis is just someone having a script and reading a scripts to their clients or patients without really using their intuition, without really paying attention to the person, without really knowing very well what he's doing. This hypnosis that I'm teaching and kinetic shift process, it's more about using your intuition. Obviously you have the steps. It's more about being fast, about being dynamic, about being flexible, about using some showmanship skills, because sometimes we need that. It's not about being boring and speaking in a monotonous voice. It's about being a little bit theatrical and maybe exaggerate some things or increase some feelings, diminish the feelings, and that's what we are going to do in this kind of hypnosis. In the classical hypnosis, my understanding is just using boring scripts or speaking too much. However, in these sessions, you don't really have to speak much, so it's all fast and effective, of course. What makes you a KS trainer? Okay, what question. So what makes me a kinetic shift trainer? First of all, When I learned KS, I was a little bit skeptical. So I am a therapist and a hypnotherapist myself, and I use it in daily basis with great and fantastic results. That's what made me think, okay, that would be amazing if I could teach this technique to other therapists. So we all could help more people. We will reach more people among all of us. So I decided to contact Carl and ask him about Kinetic Shift training. He put some training together, and he made a selection of people that could learn this technique. So he received, I think that it was 60 something CVs. So I had to send him the CV with my experience in hypnosis. So he made a selection because all the trainers that we did the training with him, we were therapists already. We had some experience, or we had experience to a certain level, or in hypnosis, in therapy, and that was the first thing. We had to pass that filter, and then during the training, the days of training for learning how to teach KS, we were assessed constantly. There is a team behind UK Hypnosis Academy with assessors, and we had to pass an exam during this assessing time, during this training. So I can guarantee you that we all have a great knowledge about how to teach this technique, because I found that some people might know how to use hypnosis, but something different is how to teach hypnosis. There are some people that don't know how to teach something that they are using. And I have seen this in some hypnotists, that they are very good and they get great results with their clients, but then when they have to teach and to tell the person and to give this knowledge to other person, they don't know how to do it. So we were assessed about the technique and about our ability to deliver the training following the standards that Carl Smith and UK Hypnosis Academy is asking, or is putting. Okay. Who is KS training suitable for? So there are two things. First of all, KS training, what you can do after taking the training is you can use it for your clients, and you can use to help people. You don't become a KS trainer, right? I just want to clarify that just to avoid confusion, because it's important that you know that when you get this training done, you are going to be able to get greater results with your clients that come to see you for anxiety, fears, phobias, cravings, and you are going to notice the difference when you are delivering hypnosis and doing hypnosis. Who is this training more suitable for? According to my experience, psychologists, psychiatrists, GPs, therapists, coaches, Reiki masters, holistic practitioners. I think that those are the professions that will take more advantage of this training, that they will use it in daily basis and will notice the transformation in their clients. However, this training can be taken by anyone. We're going to teach hypnosis from scratch. Well, we're going to teach the people how to use hypnosis, and we recommend you to have some experience in hypnosis already, or if you are a therapist or a mental health professional, it's going to be an advantage for you, because many more clients are going to benefit from your skills. So that's it. Next question is, what will I learn in this training? I think that I have said it already. You will learn how to use hypnosis in a confident way, fast, how to use Kinetic Shift technique with your clients in a confident way. And failure free, which means that if something is not working, you are going to learn how to use it in a different way. That's something that I learned in this training, and that's amazing too. It makes you go to your hypnosis session or therapy session like, okay, whatever this person is going to tell me, I don't mind, because I know what to do in all the cases. I know how to hypnotize the person, and I'm going to make the person to feel hypnotized, and then I'm going to make the person change completely and transform those unwanted feelings. So that's what you will learn in this training. What will I be able to do after this training? So more or less the same as I said before. You will be able to deliver or to create transformation in your clients. Your clients are going to notice and to feel completely different after the first session. Well, after the 10, 15 or 20 minutes, they are going to notice the difference. They might not be able to find the anxiety, they might not be able to notice the stress, they might not be able to notice the cravings anymore, and that's only after 10 or 15 minutes, what is amazing. So just learning that, I think that that's going to pay for the price of the training for a thousand times. So you can use it in your therapy practice, and you will feel really, really confident. So even myself, that English is not my native language, now I feel confident that even though there might be a word that is not very familiar to me, a word in English, I don't mind, because I'm working with feelings, I'm working with those sensations that the person is having, and I'm working with my intuition too. That, believe it or not, you will develop after this training, because you have to make sure about the micro movements on the face and some other feelings and another signs that I'm going to make you think that and believe and notice that the change has happened. So that means that aside from the person telling you that feels great, you are going to notice that the change has happened because some movements in the eyes and some other micro movements on the face that you will learn in this training. What made you study this process and share it with other people? So basically, I was a little bit tired of not feeling very confident when doing hypnosis, not getting the results I wanted with my clients. I was a little bit tired of having long sessions and boring sessions and having to depend on a script all the time. Especially when there were clients that I hadn't seen before, or they came for first time for a different issue. It was like, okay, what do I do now with this person? Before, I used to spend hours and hours researching about the issue to know a little bit more, and that's good. I think that we all know, or we all should know as much as we can about the issue that the person or the client is presenting us. However, now you don't need to become a master on that issue. You just need to become a master on kinetic shift technique to know that this can be used for many things once you know how to do it and to use it properly. What made me use and learn this process first was this. Basically, increase my confidence, to increase my success rate, and to hypnotize anyone, anywhere with the techniques that I learned. Obviously, when I saw Carl Smith on YouTube or on the internet, his confidence made me think, wow, I like that guy. You know, that I want to be able to do something similar to what he's doing. I don't want to be like him, but I want to feel as confident as him. And then I read a lot of comments, a lot of testimonials from people that has had great results. So I decided that I had to learn this technique. And then after getting the training to learn the technique, just KS, I use it with my practice in my hypnosis clinic, and I got amazed about the results. And my client was like, "Wow, that's magic! You look like a witcher or a magician doing those kind of things." And then after doing that and receiving that great feedback, I decided to take the trainer's training. the KS training for trainer. How did you start? So I don't know if that question means how did I start with hypnosis or how did I start with Kinetic Shift. I started with hypnosis, as I say before in another video, because I needed to complement my coaching practice, and I found that hypnosis was the perfect complement to increase the success rate of my clients and to work with the subconscious mind. In coaching, or when I did coaching, I used to work more with the cognitive part of the brain, and that's less effective and less useful than the subconscious mind. By working with the subconscious mind is when you can change the beliefs, when you can change those unwanted habits, and the changes are usually more permanent. And I started, as I said, I saw those videos of Carrie Smith on YouTube. I saw the testimonials. I saw the way that he was doing hypnosis, and I fell in love not on him, I fell in love on the way that he was doing hypnosis, and that's what I love. What is the subconscious mind? Well, this is for the beginners. I guess that if you have been doing hypnosis for a while, you understand the concept of conscious and subconscious mind. From my point of view, subconscious mind is anything and everything that is not under control, that is automatic, that you cannot really decide how to do it. I give you an example. For instance, when we speak about emotions or feelings, someone usually is having an emotion automatically. Don't really think about, okay, I'm going to feel sad now. It's automatic. You might be just having an argument with your partner, and suddenly you feel a little bit low or you feel angry, and you cannot say, okay, as I'm having an argument, I'm going to feel angry or I'm going to feel sad. So it just happens. So that means that the emotions and feelings are enclosed in the subconscious mind. I give you another simple example. For instance, when you get up in the morning and you put your clothes on, you don't have to say, okay, how I'm going to put my leg into the trousers. You just do it. It's automatic. You don't have to think about many things that you do during the day. You don't have to think about how to walk. You don't have to think about how you breathe. So when you are walking, you don't have to think, okay, so now I put one leg ahead of the other. So you just do it, and all that is automatic. You have learned when you were a baby or a child how to walk, and that knowledge is already in your subconscious mind. The same happens with bad habits, bad or good habits. The person that is a smoker has been smoking for a period of time, and in many cases doesn't really believe or doesn't really think about when he's smoking. He just takes out the cigarette and he just smokes, or he's having a stressful moment at work and just gets up of the chair and gets out of the office to smoke a cigarette, and that's automatic too. The person is not saying, okay, as I'm stressed, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. He just do it automatically. So we might say that the human, any normal human, can be using usually about 90% of the things that do during the day are subconscious. So, and the rest, about 10 or 15%, is conscious. So 90% of the time we are in automatic pilot. We do the things in automatic pilot. We don't think about them. We just do those things without analyzing. And the rest of the time you might be just thinking about, or you are at work about, okay, how do I do this? And that's probably the time that you spend the less. For instance, when we speak about intuition, the intuition comes from the subconscious mind too. Something that you cannot control unless you train on it. And the good news is that something that is subconscious, that is a bad habit, can turn into conscious, and we can reprogram the mind to transform that subconscious habit or bad habit into something positive. And we do that through hypnosis and kinetic shift technique. What is the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind? So I have said it. Subconscious mind is automatic, conscious mind is analytical. If you divide your brain in the two hemispheres, usually they say that the right brain is the more creative part of the brain and is associated with the subconscious mind. And the left brain, the left side of the brain, the left hemisphere, is more associated with the conscious mind, that is related to the reason, is related to the analytical mind, more thoughtful mind. However, the subconscious mind, or the right side of the brain, is more associated with feelings, with emotions, with creativity, with art, and the left hemisphere is more related to numbers and analytical. So that's basically the difference, and the subconscious mind basically will be about the 85% of the brain, which means that about 80% of the time we don't think about what we do, we just do it, and that's what it means that 85% of our brain is subconscious. Could you be specific about what we're really going to do during the 2-day KS Kinetic Shift course? Yes. So this Kinetic Shift training, the first day what you will do is just to learn rapid and fast hypnosis. How to hypnotize anyone, anywhere in under 3 minutes or even in seconds. You will learn between 7 and 10 different inductions that are going to help you to gain confidence. And at the end of the day, that's one of the most important things when you do hypnosis, because you are projecting that confidence in your clients. You are projecting that confidence, and the clients or the people that you want to hypnotize, they realize and they know if the person or the hypnotist is feeling confident or is not feeling confident. So in this, the first day is all about practice hypnosis, hypnotizing all the colleagues in the classroom, hypnotizing people in the bar, hypnotizing people anywhere, everywhere. And the second day, once you have that great base of confidence and hypnosis, is when you learn the kinetic shift technique, these 7 steps that will help you to eliminate fears, phobias in 10 or 15 minutes. During this course, the trainer, if it's myself, I'm going to be assessing what you are doing all the time. I want to be sure that you reach the standards that are needed to feel confident and to deliver KS in the proper way, and you do that transformation in your clients. Okay. During the second day, you will be doing a lot of practice too. You will practice kinetic shift with your colleagues, with your classmates, and there are many people that they want to fix or they want to solve their own issues during the training, and I have witnessed that thing many times, that people come to the hypnosis training first to improve their therapy practice, and second to help themselves to change those unwanted feelings, and that happens so many times. So that's something that you are going to benefit. You will find beneficial too. What are some of the benefits of KS? Okay, some of the questions are similar to other questions. However, I'm going to repeat. Some of the benefits of kinetic shift technique is that you can combine it with other psychological intervention or with other techniques that you know already. It's a very fast process that is being developed in 7 steps that you can exchange those steps. You are going to gain confidence to deliver KS. You're going to be able to notice the changes of the person within the first session. You're going to ask the person to try to find the unwanted feeling, and they are not going to be able to find it anymore. And if they are able to find it, in most cases they're going to decrease that number or the unwanted feeling from 9 or 10 to 1 or 2 or 0 in many cases. So that's something that you can measure. You are going to be able to measure the feeling, something that is very important to be sure that the person is improving. For whatever reason, if the change is slower than you wish, you're going to repeat the process until the person or the unwanted feeling or emotion is gone completely. So that's something that you can test there in the first session. What is amazing, it's not just wishing or hoping that the person has changed. It's showing the person that the transformation and the recycling has happened. There are many other benefits, but basically these are some of the benefits that are coming to my mind. If you watch the other videos, you will realize that you can transform your hypnosis practice and transform the way you do hypnosis. It's something that your clients are going to love as well as yourself, because your clients is not going to be the typical session where the person just lies down and hears what you have to say. So in this case, the person is going to stand up, is going to be speaking to you, is going to be with the eyes open, is going to be sitting down, is going to be standing up, is going to be lying down on the floor. So it's going to be very dynamic all the time. It's not just about speaking in a monotonous voice. It's about doing fast hypnosis and effective hypnosis. Oops. How many people have learned this technique and who can teach it? So Karen Smith have trained hundreds of people already in all over the world, in more than 9 countries. And we are now delivering this training in different countries so we can reach more people too. There are hundreds of people and clients that are getting the benefits from receiving Kinetic Shift sessions. And there are Kinetic Shift practitioners that are using KS to help their clients. So I say the hundreds of them. I don't think that we are thousands of people who have learned this technique yet by the time of the video that is recording. However, very soon I hope to have taught thousands of other therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists teach this technique so they can use it with their clients. And who can teach this technique? So we are a group of, I think, about 20 trainers, Kinetic Shift trainers that have been associated with Karen Smith and UK Hypnosis Academy. So we can teach this technique to high standards, to the standards that we believe that are required to get great results. So we are about 20 people by the time that this video is being recorded. Is KS effective for everyone? KS is effective for most people. Nothing is effective 100%. And that's something that nobody can guarantee. I cannot guarantee that you are going to help 100% of the people. Well, I can nearly guarantee that you are going to help 100% of the people because the people are going to feel much better. If you say that that's been effective, then you might say that then 100% of the people are going to find beneficial Kinetic Shift. However, we have to acknowledge that there is not a technique that is 100% effective. So you are going to be able to help most people. It's going to be effective with most people, and you might find a random person that they might need something different, or you might need different session, or you might need to get back to your old way of doing hypnosis. I don't know, or you might need to refer out to other professionals. However, most people are going to notice and see and feel the change within the first session. That's for sure. How do you explain KS in a few simple words that everyone can understand? So basically what I'm going to do is just to refer and to go back to my first slide and read that sentence. The sentence: recycling mental rubbish today for a better tomorrow. Recycling mental rubbish today for a better tomorrow. That's exactly what Kinetic Shift does. It's a psychological intervention that includes 7 different psychological techniques that combine, they all form Kinetic Shift. That is perfect for therapists that want to create transformation in their clients. But basically, just remember this sentence: recycling mental rubbish today for a better tomorrow. Could you tell us some cases you have used KS for? Yes, of course. I remember, the first client I had, or I used Kinetic Shift technique, is very important to me because I turned it from being a skeptical, or, well, after the second day of my training, or in the second day, I noticed a change within myself. This is important. I think that I haven't said this before, because the day I did my training with Karen Smith, the first morning, or during the morning of the first day, I felt a little bit that I had learned already some of the stuff that he was teaching, and I decided to be a volunteer in one of his demonstrations. And I noticed the change within myself after coming back from lunchtime. I noticed that I could hypnotize my colleagues, that I was feeling really confident because I had been working on confidence. And then I'm a quite analytical person. I like to analyze. I like to know the science, what's behind this, why is this working. I like to know everything. I'm not a great hypnotic subject. So after the second day, I learned Kinetic Shift, and again I noticed changes within myself. However, I wanted to see if this was really working in the real life with clients. So I went to my therapy clinic and I did the Kinetic Shift technique with this woman that wanted to eliminate her addiction to chocolate and sweet things and candies. And I realized after, that same moment, when I asked her about imagining chocolate, she had lost already her interest. She didn't want to eat any chocolate anymore. And then when 2 days after, she texted me, that was unbelievable, that she didn't even remember about chocolate, that she had forgotten, that she had lost her, basically, textually, literally her words were, look, I had lost interest about chocolate. I opened the fridge and my kids are still eating chocolate. Because I don't want to eliminate it from the nutrition. However, I open the fridge, I see chocolate, and I don't mind at all. It's as if it was any other thing, any other product in the fridge, and that's amazing that I received. So I remember that case. I remember a couple of cases with women that felt really high anxiety, and they came into the session feeling anxious and having those bad feelings in the chest, in the throat, in the head, and then after 15 minutes of a session, not being able to find the anxiety anymore, and just trying to find the anxiety, and they couldn't, and then decreasing the feeling from a 10 and a 9 to a 1 or a 0, and then after the next session, coming back and saying that they didn't feel anxiety anymore. So there are many cases, and you can see many more cases in Kinetic Shift Facebook group. After doing the training, you will connect with other therapists and other people that have trained in this technique, this amazing technique, and you will realize about all the different ideas and all the different cases and testimonials from clients and from these trainers too, or from these practitioners, to be more exact. Today's course. Okay, so we are finishing this online seminar to clarify about Kinetic Shift. If you have any other question, you can ask me, you can email me as these people did, or you can contact me through Facebook. My name is Ivan Fernandez, or Ivan Lentijo Fernandez. I'd be delighted to speak to you. If you want, I can give you my phone number and you can call me if you are interested in doing this course. Because I will be delivering this course in Ireland, in Spain, and in different countries. There are my colleagues, other therapists delivering this training, Kinetic Shift Hypnosis Foundation and Kinetic Shift Technique in the UK, in England, in Scotland, in Wales, in the north of Ireland, I think. So just have a look on our website, ukhypnosisacademy.com, to see the trainers and the different venues and countries where we are delivering the training. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can contact me through my website or my Facebook page, Ivan Fernandez Hypnosis.com. Sorry, I say Ivan. You can call me Ivan too, because that's the way that people call me in Spain and in not English speaking countries. They call me Ivan. So my website is ivanfernandezhypnosis.com. Have a look, and if you are interested in training with me, just here in Ireland or in Spain, or I will be probably in South America soon too, just have a look on my website, ivanfernandezhypnosis.com. If you want to see other countries or train with other people, you can check out ukhypnosisacademy.com and you will see where you can train. And remember, this is an amazing tool that is being developed in the last 2 or 3 years. Hypnosis is evolving. Old-fashioned hypnosis, I think that is dying, and I would recommend you to start training on the new techniques, on the new knowledge that are coming up, and you will realize that your confidence is going to skyrocket. It's going to go over it's going to be amazing. Actually, I have no words to describe after doing this training in Kinetic Shift, how you are going to feel, how you are going to deliver your sessions and your therapy sessions. And that's all for today. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. If you have any questions, you can see the description of the video and you can see the links and contact me if you have any question. Ivan Lentijo Fernandez, speaking to you. Thank you for listening to me. See you soon.